Alright, we are on the play with Rug Delver. This hand looks pretty good. We have a pseudo cantrip with the traverse, couple lands, Goyf, interaction through Shoal, Snapcaster Mage, and Bolt. It's looking quite good. I like it. This is a pretty strong 7. Good against aggro thanks to Bolt, Snap, Bolt. Not to mention casting Goyf. Good against, basically good against mid-range as well. Goyf, Traverse, Snapcaster Mage, all things I like to see. Yeah, this is just a pretty much well-rounded hand. Our opponent mulled to 6. Let's see what's going on that side of the table. Swamp into Raven's Crime means we're probably playing against 8-Rack. We're going to discard the Disrupting Shoal. We do want to fetch here because they do plan on killing us via lowering our life total, so I don't really want to shock. The flip side is that I would quite like to draw a bunch of lands. Maybe we should have held on to the Shoal so that we could pitch Snapcaster Mage to counter a Smallpox. That might have been extremely relevant. Regardlessly, Traverse is going to be very good here. Getting us a threat and getting us a land. Both extremely good modes if this is the matchup I think it is. If we're facing down a Smallpox, it's just the rack. Fantastic. Oh, that could have been bad. If that was a Smallpox, we'd probably be in trouble. I imagine we sacrifice the Steam Vents and then Traverse for an island in an attempt to rebuild. We could at least denial the second Smallpox if that were the case. This Raven's Crime makes me kind of want to just discard a Lightning Bolt. They discarded a Darksteel Citadel. Was that on the first one? No, it wasn't. Artifact, land, instant, that's why it's a 3/4. I almost want to discard the Traverse just so that Goyf becomes a 4/5. But Raven's Crime going back in the graveyard does that anyways. Oh, that's why Raven's Crime was previously in the graveyard. It was the 3rd type, and then Darksteel Citadel took over as type number 3. We only have 2 card types in our graveyard, and I don't expect that to get much bigger anytime soon, but I also don't want to use this Traverse early on because I would much rather just draw lands than thin the deck. So I think we're going to wait on the Traverse, hold up Denial, hold up Snap Bolt. We're in a really good spot here, thanks to that turn 2 Goyf and our opponent not having the Smallpox. I do think we should have discarded the Bolt instead of the Shoal on that first turn, then discarding the Shoal on the 3rd turn. We have a couple ways of interacting with this Liliana. We can denial it, or we can Snapcaster Mage, target Lightning Bolt, sacrifice the Snapcaster Mage, and then bolt the Liliana. I think we just denial it because we can Snap Denial after. To be fair, this play is much less mana efficient, but it's also pretty good, and I like it. Serum Visions, let's draw a card. Oh, we no longer have Snap Denial. We have Spell Snare, but that's not quite as good. Still 2 card types, but the Visions is going to be the 3rd, so I don't mind leaving Mana Leak on top. If Goyf goes down, this Traverse becomes live with Delirium, so that is okay. Leaving the Counterspell on top does worry me at least a little bit, because that means that if they do manage to take out our Goyf, we will basically have 0 pressure on a bunch of counterspells, which is not something that you want if you're not playing a control deck. Fortunately, Goyf going down would put 4 card types in the bin, Traverse turns on, and we have threats again. Now, what is Nezumi Shortfang? I've never seen this card before. 2 mana 1/1. It's a flip card. For 2 mana and tapping it, the target opponent discards a card, and if they have no cards in hand, transform it. The flip side, can I conveniently get to? I can't. It is a 3/3 at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep. This is so hard to read. I'm literally sideways. That player loses 1 life for each card fewer than 3 in his or her hand. Okay. Do we hold on to Spell Snare? I think I'd rather just get rid of this. At this point, I think we just discard the Traverse because we have Snap, Counter, and Mana Leak. So I think I'm okay with just losing the Traverse. It is notable that Traverse is an amazing top deck. And we are... Yes! Yes, it does. It does just flip into a rack. If the card said flips into a rack, that would have been very helpful. So yeah, we're going to discard the Traverse. I think I'd rather have Snapcaster Mage here. Like I said, Traverse is a card I like very much, but I think I'd rather have Snapcaster Mage in hand. I believe we can protect this Goyf. The main reason that I wanted to counter the Nezumi Short Fang instead of just saving the Spell Snare for a Smallpox is we can deal with Smallpox with the Mana Leak and the Snapcaster Mage. This puts a creature in the bin, which means Goyf is a 2-turn clock, and most importantly, it doesn't get to chump Goyf, which means otherwise Goyf would have been a 3-turn clock, which is relevant. Our opponent said something at the end there, but we couldn't see it because we were reading stuff. We took game 1, which was nice. We made a couple of mistakes there, which isn't great, but we still got through, so that's good. Engineered Explosives seems at least somewhat relevant, although it is notable that we won't be hitting too many land drops. I at least don't expect to hit too many land drops. Blood Moon looks really bad. They do run Mutavault in my experience, but I still don't want to run Blood Moon just for that. Although it's an enchantment, maybe you run 1 just to pitch to Ravenscrime. That might be trying to next level them too much. Huntmaster I'm iffy on because it is a very good top deck, but they can Smallpox our lands, and we might even want to discard lands to Ravenscrime. So it's entirely possible that we're going to have trouble casting this big guy. Ceremonious Rejection is actually very interesting, but besides the rack, I don't think they have any colorless cards. So I believe we're just going to stick to the standard Artifact Destruction instead of going the Ceremonious Rejection route. How good is Spell Snare here? Countering Smallpox on the draw sounds fun. So we're looking at these 4, and it's possible we'll bring in some more stuff. They have Liliana, which makes me like Nux. Once again, high mana costs make me a little sad. I'm iffy on it. Lightning Bolt and Forked Bolt are cards I'm pretty happy to get rid of. Where is Forked Bolt? I hate that. I hate that so much. So we have 3 cards down. We need to cut at least 1 more. Maybe it's another Lightning Bolt. I like Tarfire. Dismember's bad. Oh, so's Vapor Snag. There we go. We're cutting things. We probably have room for a Singleton Huntmaster. The question is, do I actually want it? Disrupting Shoal still looks good. It's possible we want to cut Shoal because it is bad in attrition matchups, and especially bad against discard decks, and 8-rack is basically the discard deck, unless you want to put GBX mid-range slightly above it, which I suppose you could, but I don't know. I don't want to cut any cantrips because we're looking to be potentially land light anyways, so I don't think I'm cutting any Traverses, any Thought Scours. Thought Scour was something I was actually considering, but I'd rather have it. I think we're going to go with this. Hopefully it works out nicely, and let's see how we do. This hand looks pretty good. I like it quite a bit. Oh, they chose to be on the draw. I forgot that 8-rack did that. That's funny. It also works pretty well for us because we can turn 1 Serum Visions while having Spell Snare up for Smallpox. So I'm actually quite happy that that happened. I don't know if we want to traverse right away. I still think I want to hold on to it. Do I want to get a steam vents? Probably. I don't expect to do much shocking, so I don't mind. Given that we have Disrupting Shoal in hand, I actually don't mind slamming this Goifon too, because we can Shoal, pitch Snapcaster Mage to deal with Smallpox, which ironically is a line we had last game that I elected not to take, because I defaulted to Shoal is bad in attrition matchups, so I dumped it, keeping Lightning Bolt, which is also pretty bad in these kinds of matchups. That's a hard decision. I want all three of these. I'm pretty sure I want to keep the Traverse, which means we're getting rid of Forest, which sounds like an awful idea. Do I get rid of Traverse instead? That can't be right. If I want a land, I can just get a land. Do we get rid of the Forest or the Breeding Pool? Double blue seems more relevant than the 2 life. Not by much. Not by much. But by a non-zero amount, I believe. I think I'd rather go to 15. Holding up Disrupting Shoal to counter Smallpox. I don't know if I would pitch Spell Snare to counter a Fatal Push. Hopefully we don't have to make that decision. Let's think about it anyways. Would it be worth losing these 2 cards to keep Goif on the battlefield, knowing that they could have a second Fatal Push? Here's a Thoughtseize. That's going to hurt, but I'm not going to Shoal it. I think it hurts us more if we do Shoal it. We're going to leave the Thoughtseize cam up here so that we can see what information they have. Pretty much all of our cards are good, so I could see them taking anything. The Snapcaster Mage and the Traverse are probably on the better side of the spectrum. They took Snap. That is quite understandable. Snapcaster Mage is great. I believe if there's another Raven's Crime here, we dump the Disrupting Shoal. Spell Snare counters more of the things that we care about. I don't want to get rid of the Traverse. We only have 3 card types in the bin, but we're about to discard an instant, which means we could actually Traverse next turn if we want to. Which is definitely relevant. We can Traverse for anything we like. Ooh, we drew a Snapcaster Mage. I think that makes me more likely to Traverse for a land. We don't need to Traverse yet because the sorcery type is already in the bin. So it doesn't help us at all. I think I want to hold up Spell Snare. I also kind of want to get a land. I think it'll help us if they have turn 3 Liliana. We'd be able to flash in Snapcaster Mage if that's something we are interested in. We're going to get a basic island, I believe. Do I want double red? Double red's probably better than triple blue. Let's get the mountain. Any land now allows us to play a hasty Knuckleblade, which is definitely something that we care about at least a bit. Not too much, but a bit. Shrieking Affliction. Okay. We should shorten this to just Spell Snare because they don't know about the second Snapcaster Mage. And the Rack. Well, we can't counter either of those, so they're both fine. This is going to deal 3, I believe. It's 1 or fewer. That's awesome. I would love to not cast any spells right now. So it looks like our opponent is trying to race us. That makes a good bit of sense given that they know we have the Spell Snare, so they're getting their 1 CMC things out of the way. I believe we're going to discard the Spell Snare. Snapcaster Mage is more versatile. We can always flashback Spell Snare. We also have the ability to Snap Visions. Snap Traverse. Oh, Snap Traverse is juicy. Unfortunately, we're going to take a good bit of damage here, but on the bright side, so is our opponent. We can Snap Traverse for a Hunt Master of the Fells. I don't like that too much. We definitely get on in there. I actually don't know if I want to play this land. So right now, the only thing we can do on their turn with Snapcaster Mage is snap Spell Snare. Then again, they don't know about the Spell Snare, they don't know about the Snapcaster Mage, which means they might actually walk into something. So I actually think I'm going to hold on to the Scalding Tarn to protect our Snapcaster Mage. Now, we could use the Snapcaster Mage now and traverse something, but I think we don't need to. It's important to note that our opponent cannot have a land and Smallpox right now, so I might just Snap Snare this. Creature is already in the bin. It won't be lethal, and we're going to take at least 5, which isn't good, but it speeds up our clock a lot. I'm going to do it. Target Spell Snare. It's possible we wanted to snap Traverse on our turn. I think that's the only other line we would want. I don't really think we want to snap Visions here. Doesn't seem as good as hold up Spell Snare and get a threat. Raven's Crime, sure, we're going to take 6. That's going to put us to 4, which is pretty bad. We might be dead. Oh, that is a tease. That is such a tease. That means well, I mean, in retrospect, we should have played the land. To be fair, we don't know we should have played the land when we had the land in hand. I suppose if our opponent's sequencing was Raven's Crime into Short Fang, then holding the land is better because you get to keep the Snapcaster Mage. Then again, we would probably Snapcaster Mage in response to Raven's Crime if Snap was the only card in our hand. I think we're just going to swing with both. It really doesn't matter. We are in fact dead. There is nothing we can do. I do believe it looks like we should have played this Scalding Tarn. Unfortunately, hindsight is 2020. We're going to discard this Savage Knuckleblade. Yup. Good night, Sweet Nux. Maybe we should have scooped there so they didn't know about the Knuckleblade. I think that's the case. And we are dead. Okay. How do we want to change this up? I kind of want to drop Huntmaster. I don't really want to drop Huntmaster, but we didn't see any Smallpox yet, and I guess it's only by our own choices that we didn't get to 4 mana. So I suppose that's not an argument at all. Maybe Huntmaster's fine. Is Huntmaster worse than any of these? Vapor Snag's bad. Blood Moon seems extremely bad. Pyroclasm's bad. Huntmaster is Huntmaster. Ceremonious Rejection counters the Rack. I suppose that is important, but not important enough for me to want an otherwise dead card, I think. Staticaster seems awful. I think I'd rather have Huntmaster than the 4th Bolt effect. Dismember is bad, and Vapor Snag remains bad. We're going to run this 60 back. Hopefully the 60's good. Now we're at an interesting point where we know our opponent is on 8-rack, and we know that they want to be on the draw. Or rather, they want us to be on the play so that we have 1 fewer card. The flip side to that is being on the play means we're behind on tempo. Not something being on the draw means we're behind on tempo, which isn't something I'm really excited to have happen. I think I want to be ahead on tempo. I also would enjoy being ahead on cards, but you can't always get what you want. It's an interesting decision. I think I'd be more likely to put more stock in it if we drew our hand first. However, that's not how Magic works. This hand looks pretty good. It is not fantastic by any stretch, but it is pretty good. We're probably... Oh, we can EE some good stuff. I want to play EE immediately, I think. engineered explosives on 1, they almost certainly won't be able to interact with it, which means we basically take out their win conditions at will. On the other hand, if we keep it in hand, it could be a surprise. So we're either playing Traverse, playing Thought Scour, or playing Engineered Explosives, or playing this fetch land and not shocking. Do we want to traverse out a land? Maybe. Thought Scour, maybe. EE, maybe. I kind of want double blue. I think we're going to shock and traverse out an island. We'll worry about the rest later. I think that's what we want to do. Let's get a stomping ground. Yup. Traverse. Should we have gotten a breeding pool and then a mountain? No, I want the... Oh, we would have double blue that way. And it's still single green. Maybe. We get a breeding pool, we get a mountain. I don't know how good that is. It's harder to sacrifice a land and still have all of our colors, though. We're not playing EE for 0, that's for sure. I suppose we could always lose an island, but that necessitates giving them more information, and they'll know all 3 lands if we take that line. Then again, here comes the targeted discard, so they know all 3 lands anyways. I'm not sure which line there is the best one. We had a lot of choices. I think I like the idea of getting our mana out. They're probably taking out Snapcaster Mage here. That's what I would take. Or Engineered Explosives. One of those two. Bolt and Thought Scour seem pretty inconspicuous right now. They took the Engineered Explosives, which is making me at least consider the possibility that we would have wanted to play the EE on 1. Scour or Visions? Scour or Visions? That is a very good question. We definitely play the island. Okay. Don't know how we ended up clicking that. I just wanted to get the island off of this. Oh, and the EE, I suppose. Which one is better? We hold up Thought Scour, which means we're at least bluffing that we have counters. Or are we just Visions? I think we're just going to Visions. It's certainly more powerful. Delver's nice. I don't think I want Shoal. And maybe we Lightning Bolt something? Doesn't seem likely, but it gets cards in the graveyard, which really isn't difficult in this matchup. They're going to Inquisition. It's either Snapcaster Mage or Delver, I think, here. This Inquisition window is now outdated. I could see them taking Delver if they don't have a lot of removal, but Snapcaster Mage is pretty good. They took Snapcaster. I like that they're not smallpoxing. These have been some very nice, plagueless games. I enjoy that. Do we bolt them? I'm going to save it for Liliana's. Seems like a better idea. They already know the island. They know everything but the bauble. We're going to play the bauble anyways. We'll be cracking it on their upkeep, looking at our top card. Ooh, Fatal Push the Delver. Sure. That is perfectly fine. That makes me less interested in doing it on their upkeep, but still pretty interested. I think we're just going to wait. Do it on their upkeep. Oh, we still have Pseudo Scry with the Scour. Oh, we're totally looking at our top card. I've never Pseudo Scryed with Scour. That's awesome. What do we got? Tarmogoyf. That happens to be a card I would like to draw. We could even Scour them. Is Scouring them good? It puts Raven's Crime in their graveyard, theoretically. Which is basically a non-issue once they already have a Raven's Crime. But at this point, it's at least somewhat relevant. We also cycle through our cantrips. I think I like that. We don't need the graveyard help. Oh, we got to draw 3 cards in that span. That's pretty fantastic. Do we play a fetch land? I like playing Goyf. I don't know if I want to fetch out the forest. I kind of do. Then again, it's unlikely we need to bolt anything. If we do, we'll just deal with it when it happens. I'd rather keep the forest in the deck if I can. So I believe that's how it's going to be. This should be over here. They know about bolt. Let's get our graveyard up as well. Here's an Inquisition. That kind of makes me want to fetch shock and bolt them, but at the same time, I don't think that's going to be great. I'd rather not take that damage because I don't know how well this race is going to go if we commit to a race. They're at 20, so that's not huge. We might want to fetch here. Yeah, we may as well fetch here. We'll grab a breeding pool, put it onto the battlefield tapped. That was a very good draw for having fetched there. I don't know if we actually should have fetched. It's possible we should have held on to it because I did want to save on lands in the deck. But then again, we had the opportunity to get our mana out without shocking. So I think I like getting the breeding pool definitely more than I like getting the forest. I don't know if I like it overall though. Speak of the devil, he shall appear, yada yada yada. I don't think we want the Tarfire, but I am pretty happy to draw a Hooting Mandrills. We're going to keep these in hand. Our opponent has had basically no proactive plays so far. Discard is definitely proactive, but it's not as proactive as I'm sure they would like. A single Shrieking Affliction is not scary. We're going to get in for 5. Our opponent is going down in just a couple of turns, which is fantastic. The question is, do we play this Mandrills? It exposes us to Shrieking Affliction if they have Raven's Crime, but traditional discard doesn't get the lands out of our hand, and I think we want to play it anyways just because if they have a Liliana, having a second creature on board makes it significantly less backbreaking. Do we want to tap very low? I don't think so. I think I just want to do that. They don't know about this forest, so I would like things to be nice and ambiguous. 1 land. Let's take out a sorcery, a creature, say an instant. I want to make sure Goyf stays nice and large, and that Delirium is great if/when we top deck the second Traverse the Ulvenwald. Maybe we'll grab a Snapcaster Mage, go for some Traverse Snap Bolt. Phylactery Lich. Put a Phylactery counter on the Darksteel Citadel. It's indestructible, and when they control no permanents with Phylactery counters, they have to sacrifice it. That's a pain. That blocks Goyf forever. That's actually pretty good against decks like ours. I could see that as a hedge against Death's Shadow, Eldrazi Tron, those sorts of decks. The decks that like to run fatties and not too many of them. Well, we're gonna go to us. We drew Snapcaster Mage. Snap Traverse, get Savage Knuckleblade, and then we'll have 2 attackers that are big enough to survive the Lich, and we'll be winning shortly. Or Snap Traverse, get Huntmaster of the Fells. I'm not sure which. I am not sure which. We want to target this Traverse. Let it resolve. I also want to play the Steam Vents tapped to make it nigh impossible for them to get us off of whatever Haymaker we want to play. I think we're going to hold up the blue mana instead of the red mana. So, how about them decision points? Or we just get another Tarmogoyf. Tarmogoyf's pretty dang good. I think I'd rather get the Knuckleblade because I believe it's going to be difficult for them to... it's going to be hard for them to Fatal Push it. So that's definitely a point for it. Huntmaster has the same bonus. It also goes a little wide, and can shoot faces and gains life. I like Huntmaster a lot. That's not a secret. I also like Knuckleblade, but it is definitely not a secret that I am a fan of Huntmaster of the Fells. Let's pass to them. Going wide in addition to going tall seems pretty good. Gaining life means it's going to be hard for them to kill us. I think I like this line. Thoughtseize obviously throws a nice wrench into our plan, but that puts them to 8. We swing with the team. Snapcaster Mage and Mandrills are going to put them down. Wrench Mind is pretty fantastic for them, given that we lose our 2 cards. It's possible we should have kept the Steam Vents in hand, but I'm a little skeptical given that, well, maybe they do run a lot of Wrench Minds. I don't know. I was playing around Raven's Crime, given that we still had 1 land in our hand, so I wasn't worried about that. Targeted discard, Thoughtseize, basically is a Haymaker regardlessly. What do we got? Mishra's Bauble. I think we want to play that. I kind of want to just swing with the team because they take at least 7 here. And if they choose to block the Goyf, they take 6 and none of our creatures die. So that seems really good. Keeping the Bauble in hand doesn't seem great, given that chances are they're going to make us discard it anyways, and we still get hit by Shrieking Affliction. So I think we're just going to play the Bauble. Ooh, Dismember is really good here. They only take 2 to cast it. I like that a lot. I don't love it, but I do like it quite a bit. We've used up a lot of time in this match. Apparently I've done some thinking. So they're taking out Mandrills with that and just perpetually walling Goyf. That makes sense. They're going to take 2 off of Snapcaster Mage. Or they're going to block Snapcaster Mage. No, they're not blocking Snapcaster Mage. That puts them into Bolt range, which isn't a great spot. We still have 1 Lightning Bolt in our deck. No more Snapcaster Mages. We don't have any Vapor Snags to bounce our Snapcaster Mage to get that recurred Snap Bolt. I think we just cast this. On their upkeep, we'll crack it, looking at their top card. It protects our hand from discard. At least sorcery speed discard. There is a swamp about to be drawn. We have nothing else we can do, so we may as well not have priority. This has been a pretty fun match. They play the swamp. I like that they haven't had Liliana of the Veil. Oh my lord, Torment of Hailfire? Wow, is that cool. That is an amazing addition. Okay. Iteration of 3. So, x equals 3. We're either going to take 9 and then another 3 off of Affliction, or we can take 6, sack Snapcaster Mage, another 3 off of Affliction. We can go to 4, or we can go to 1. Neither is good. If we sack the Snapcaster Mage, we're not getting in for anything. But if we swing with the team, they just block swing with the Lich. So that isn't good either. Do we have an out? We have no way of interacting with this Lich because we boarded out our creature interaction. Well, the first 2, we're just going to do this way. The last one. Do we sack the Snapcaster Mage? If we sack Snapcaster Mage, we basically can't swing with Goyf. We go to 4, and we're dead in 2 turns. If we don't sack Snapcaster Mage, I think our out is top deck Savage Knuckleblade. Even then, we don't necessarily win. But I think we have to sacrifice Snapcaster Mage, get an extra turn off of Shrieking Affliction. Oh, they can swing. If they swing, we swing, though. If they can swing, we can swing. No, we're still dead. They got us. They got us. We're going to go to 2 and then Shrieking Affliction. That's game. Oh, that is awesome. Now we know that was a very sweet card out of 8-rack. Torment of Hailfire. I was definitely not expecting that. That was a fantastic match. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.